Morning. Today I wanted to talk to you about prepping the CTX3030 for use in the sea. I've been using them now since they first came out, and there's a few tips and tricks just trying to make sure that it's fully watertight and you don't suffer some of the problems that a lot of people have had along the way. It's an excellent detector for use in the sea as well as the land, but just trying to make sure that you safeguard your investment. First things first, when I use it in the sea, I quite like having the yellow, and I took that inspiration from the Excalibur. It's nice having a visible search head when the water is a bit murky. Next thing I did was just protect this strain relief. It's quite a severe angle. I've had a couple of coils fail where I believe water has got into the strain relief and causing the coils not to be detected. So I've put self-amalgamating tape over the whole strain relief area, right from the base to up in the cable. Next area, just here where my finger is, there's quite often quite a sharp edge, and before you put your cable in, it's worth just taking a file to it, and it's on the inside, just removing the sharp edge. I've also put some plastic spiral wrap, cable wrap, just on that bit in its section, which is about that long, and it just protects that edge of the cable. Moving up the detector, the other area that has caused me is the USB cap, and I've come up with a solution on that, and it's several-fold. One is PTFE tape round the thread. The next is a little silicone ring which goes over the thread, and it just fills the gap between the bottom of the cap and the big nut. And if you want to be really sure, then there is this special Loctite. In this case it's white, it's a silicone, but it's specifically for plastic, and it doesn't shrink or crack. And I've just a very, very small smear around the threads. When you come to take off the cap, just that little bit extra friction there, but the silicone all comes off and it doesn't stick to the plastic once you pull it. Just tweeze it off. Protecting the display itself, I found a great product for that, because obviously your hands are full of sand, and you wipe your hand across the face to clear the sandy water, and it's quite easy to scratch the plastic or the button face. And I use this Zag original film. It's much cheaper to buy a pack which is oversized, in this case Apple iPad Air, which I got off Amazon for I think about £5 or about €5-6, and then just cut it to the size. One side is very slightly sticky. Use a special activator, spray it on, and then put the film in place. It's self-healing, and it's great. It can be removed at any time. Just get a pair of tweezers or something just to fingernail to grab the edge, and you can pull it off if you want to remove it. But it's been on there. This one has been on here for 18 months now, and it's the head is always displayed underwater. so that's worthwhile doing. I like having a watch on the detector itself. The headphones, I use Miles surf phones, excellent sensitivity and volume, work really well, and splash proof, so highly recommend those. Right, the next area which has been a problem area for a few people is the battery compartment. Now Minelab have recently, when I say recently, last January 2016, been upgrading the battery packs. They've put a rubber flange on here. Before it was hard plastic, which I'm not sure if that makes any real difference, but that's one of the things. But the other thing, which is more important, is this edge here. They've now made a rubberized edge, and they've also changed the seal thickness. It's now 2 mil as opposed to 1.75, and that does help. I can't stress how important it is to keep this edge incredibly clear and clean, along with the inside edge. A single grain of sand can ruin the battery and the terminals. It's a relatively straightforward job to have a new bulkhead put on, but obviously there's an expense to that. But you really do need to pay critical attention to this interface. And I've started using again a little bit of silicone grease on the seal, a very small amount. After I take it out, I charge the battery, I wash the seal, apply a very fine film, clean out the groove, clean this edge, and then reinsert it all back together again. I also use this yellow silicone, and you get these armbands off eBay for about 90 pence, euro, and just go around and stops the grip the clamp, stop the clamps open. Just stop the clamps opening. Now the other thing I have done recently is just insert a very small piece of foam around the inside. It's a high absorption foam. I've used 3M tape to stick it in place, but it is a thin foam, about 1.5 millimeters thick, and it absorbs water like mad, in case you ever do get 1 drop or 2 drops into this area, and that will prevent that going down onto the terminals. There is a slight cutout just here, and that's because the latest batteries are slightly fatter just where this rubber strip is. One area that is worth just checking is when you actually insert the battery, do make sure that it does fully seat. I have seen and had it myself where the battery somehow catches on something, and I'm not quite sure what, but there's a very small gap. So when it does sit in place, make sure that the gap here, there isn't one, and that will just make sure that this new rubber edge will seal against here and just stop any dust, sand, water from going into the where the seal is. If we want to remove the seal, there's 2 things which I use. One is just a cocktail stick, which just taking the tip off. Well, the other thing that's quite handy is an iPhone SIM removal tool, and you can just get around the edge of the seal. Don't dig into the seal, but just get around the edge of it and then just pop it up. The detector itself, I just use a silicone spray, which I just spray onto the detector leave it to soak for a couple of minutes and then just wipe it off, and it brings the finish. You will find that you do get sort of grey bits and little marks from using the detector, and just using a bit of the silicone spray all over it brings it back to like new again. This one's, I haven't put spray on for a few weeks now, so I'll do that today, and I just wipe it all around and let it soak in and then wipe it off again. Done is when I put the headphones and the other two connectors on the inside, again a little bit of silicone grease just on the thread to make the thread a little bit easier to go in place. On the headphones I have used PTFE as well, because I do change headphones. I've got an underwater set of headphones if I ever want to do that. Well, hopefully you found that useful, and any comments or suggestions, please put it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.